The sky darkened as another alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere. Captain Tom Reed watched from the hills above what was once San Francisco. The massive ship opened its belly, and tons of broken metal parts rained down on the already huge piles below. The crash and clang of the falling junk echoed across the valley. Tom pulled his mask tighter over his face. The air was bad here. 20 years of alien trash dumps had changed Earth. Once green fields were now seas of metal scraps. Clear blue skies were now always gray. "Right on time," said Mike, Tom's old friend who tracked the dump schedules. "That's the third one today." Tom nodded. The aliens, who called themselves the Galactic Confederacy, had a system. They came, they dumped, they left. To them, Earth was just disposal site 3172. Nothing more. "Let's go down. I want to see what they brought this time," Tom said. They climbed down the hill carefully. Other scavengers were already moving through the new piles, picking up pieces that might be useful. This was life now. Humans had become trash collectors on their own planet. 10 years earlier, Earth had tried to fight back when the aliens first came. Tom had been a young officer then. The war lasted less than a month. Earth's best weapons were like sticks against the aliens' technology. Instead of killing all humans, the Confederacy decided on what they called mercy. They would use Earth as a trash dump. Humans could live, as long as they stayed out of the way. Tom moved through the piles, his trained eyes looking for certain parts. Most people searched for things they could use or sell, power cells that still worked, metal that could be melted down. But Tom had other orders. He spotted it under a pile of twisted metal, a curved piece with markings he recognized. He carefully pulled it out and slipped it into his bag before anyone noticed. "Got something?" Mike asked. "Just some scrap," Tom lied. He didn't like keeping secrets from his friend, but these were dangerous times. That night, Tom traveled to a meeting point in the mountains. A hidden door in what looked like a normal rock face opened as he approached. Armed guards checked his ID in his bag before letting him enter. The elevator went down for a long time. When the doors opened, Tom walked through a long tunnel into a massive underground cave. Inside was a sight that still amazed him. Hundreds of people working on what looked like sections of a spaceship. Admiral Patel waited for him near the main platform. She was one of the few high-ranking officers who survived the war. Her face had more lines now, her hair more gray, but her eyes still had the same sharp look. "You found it?" she asked. Tom pulled the curved piece from his bag, exactly where intelligence said it would be. "That's the 5th piece this month." The Admiral smiled. "Good. Dr. Miller's been waiting for this." They walked through the busy workspace. People moved with purpose, carrying tools and parts. Some worked on what looked like engine pieces, others assembled what might be weapons. But it wasn't like any ship Tom had seen before. The parts didn't seem to match, like a puzzle made from different sets. "How's it coming along?" Tom asked. "Better than expected. The aliens think they're clever, breaking everything into pieces before dumping it. But they're creatures of habit. They follow patterns, and we've gotten good at spotting those patterns." They reached a separate area where a woman with wild gray hair bent over a workbench. Dr. Anna Miller had been a physics professor before the invasion. Now she was the lead scientist for what they called Project Whisper. She looked up as they approached, her eyes lighting up when she saw what Tom carried. "You found it." She took the piece from him, turning it over in her hands. "This is the final component for the neural interface. Perfect condition, too." "Neural interface?" Tom asked. He'd been delivering parts for months, but still didn't fully understand what they were building. Dr. Miller looked at Admiral Patel, who nodded. "I think it's time Captain Reed learns what this is all about," the Admiral said. "Follow me," Dr. Miller said. She led them to a secure room at the back of the cave. Inside was a chair surrounded by strange equipment. Screens showed images that Tom couldn't understand. "The aliens didn't just give us their trash," Dr. Miller explained. "They gave us their technology. Broken, yes. Scattered, yes. But still usable if you know how to put it back together. She pointed to the piece Tom had brought. This is part of how they control their ships. Not with buttons or levers, but with their minds. Their neural technology is far beyond ours. Or at least, they think it is. You're building a ship that can be controlled by thoughts. Tom asked. We're building a weapon, Admiral Patel corrected. A ship the aliens will never see coming because it's made from their own discarded technology. Something invisible to their detection systems because it reads as their own tech. Dr. Miller nodded. But more than that, we've discovered something they don't know. Their neural interfaces work differently with human brains. Our brainwave patterns create what we call ghost signals, readings that their systems filter out as background noise. In other words, Admiral Patel said, we're building a warship that will be a whisper to their sensors, silence in the night. Tom looked around the room with new understanding. Why tell me this now? The Admiral's face grew serious. Because we need test subjects. People who can connect with the alien tech, learn to control it. Military people with strong minds. People like you, Captain. It's not without risk, Dr. Miller added quickly. The interface wasn't designed for human brains, but we've made modifications, safety protocols. Tom thought about the years of watching alien ships dump their trash on his world. He thought about the millions who died in the war. He thought about children growing up never knowing a world without alien masters. Where do I sign up? He asked. The Admiral smiled. I knew you'd say that. Training begins tomorrow. If it works, you'll be the first human to truly interface with alien technology. The first step toward taking back our planet. As Tom left the facility that night, he looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, the aliens went about their lives, thinking that humans were just simple creatures managing their trash heap. They had no idea what was coming. A whisper in the night. And soon, much more. Tom sat in the neural interface chair for the third time that week. Cold metal bands wrapped around his head. Dr. Miller stood nearby, checking readings on her screens. Ready? She asked. Tom nodded. Ready. She pressed a button, and the world changed. Pain shot through Tom's head like lightning. He gripped the chair arms until his knuckles turned white. Then the pain faded, replaced by something stranger. A humming in his mind, like distant voices whispering just out of reach. I'm getting good readings, Dr. Miller said, her voice sounding far away. Try to focus on the test image. On the wall in front of him was a simple picture, a red circle. Tom stared at it, trying to block out the whispers in his head. Now, like we practiced. Don't just look at it. Reach for it with your thoughts. Tom tried. He imagined his mind stretching out, touching the circle. Nothing happened at first. Then, slowly, the circle began to move across the wall. It wasn't his eyes playing tricks. The circle was responding to his thoughts. Excellent. Dr. Miller clapped her hands. You're getting better at this. When the test ended, Tom felt drained. His nose was bleeding slightly. Dr. Miller handed him a cloth. The nosebleeds should stop as your brain adjusts, she said. You're doing better than anyone else we've tested. Most can't even move the circle. What exactly am I connecting to? Tom asked, wiping his nose. Dr. Miller hesitated. It's complicated. The alien neural tech doesn't just read brain signals. It stores them, like memories. When you connect, you're not just linking to a machine. You're linking to all the minds that used it before. Tom felt cold. You mean alien minds? I'm connecting to alien thoughts. Fragments only. Echo patterns. But yes, she admitted. That's why the whispers you hear. Those are memory traces left by previous users. Tom wasn't sure how to feel about alien thoughts mixing with his own. But if it helped Earth fight back, he could live with it. 6 months passed. The secret ship took shape in the underground hangar. Tom had never seen anything like it. Parts that seemed random now fit together in a perfect whole. The ship, officially named Whisper, was smaller than most military vessels, but sleek and deadly-looking. Tom wasn't the only one training with the neural tech now. 5 others had shown the ability to connect. A former pilot named Jack, a weapons expert named Emma, a young engineer named Ben, a doctor named Grace, and a former scavenger with tactical skills named Ryan. They trained together, learning to use their linked minds to control different parts of the ship. Jack could navigate using just his thoughts. Emma could target weapons with impossible accuracy. Ben understood the ship's systems on a level that seemed almost magical. The real breakthrough came last week, Dr. Miller told Admiral Patel during an inspection. Tom stood nearby, listening. We discovered that emotional states affect how the interface works. Fear, determination, focus, these amplify the connection. Is that safe? The Admiral asked. Dr. Miller shrugged. Safe? No, none of this is safe. But it works, and we're running out of time. That was true. The Confederacy had announced plans to expand their dumping zone. Soon, they would be dropping trash directly on top of the hidden facility. One day, during a training session, something unexpected happened. Tom was connected to the interface, practicing with a simulation of the ship's sensors, when the whispers in his mind suddenly grew louder. Images flashed through his brain, alien worlds, strange cities, battles in space. Then words, clear as day. They are coming. Tom jolted out of the chair, ripping off the neural bands. Did you hear that? He gasped. Dr. Miller rushed to his side. Hear what? Your readings just spiked. A voice, clear as yours. It said, they are coming. Tests showed nothing wrong with Tom's brain or the interface, but the experience left him shaken. That night, he dreamed of alien stars and ships like great predators hunting through space. The next morning, Admiral Patel called an emergency meeting. Our scouts report increased Confederacy activity. 3 patrol ships have been scanning this area. Do they know about us? Tom asked. Unlikely, but they're suspicious. We need to speed up the timeline. Dr. Miller looked alarmed. The neural interface isn't stable yet. We need more testing. We don't have time, the Admiral said firmly. How soon can the ship fly? The systems are operational, Dr. Miller admitted. But connecting multiple minds at once, we haven't tested that fully. Test it now, ordered the Admiral. I want a full crew neural link by the end of the week. 3 days later, Tom and the 5 other neural pilots gathered in a special room on the ship. 6 chairs were arranged in a circle, each with the now familiar interface bands. This will be different from your solo training, Dr. Miller explained. When you link, you'll not only connect to the ship, but to each other. You'll experience each other's thoughts, memories, emotions. Will we still be ourselves? Grace asked nervously. Yes. Think of it as a shared dream where you're all aware of each other, but still individual. Tom looked at the others. We can do this. They sat in the chairs. The interface bands closed around their heads. Dr. Miller initiated the link. Pain came first, worse than before. Tom heard someone scream. Maybe Emma, maybe himself. Then the whispers, louder than ever. The world spun, and darkness took him. When Tom opened his eyes, he wasn't in his body anymore. He was the ship. He could feel its hull like his own skin, its engines like a heartbeat. But he wasn't alone. 5 other minds moved with his, around his, through his. He felt Jack's love of flying, Emma's steady focus, Ben's curiosity, Grace's compassion, Ryan's determination. They felt his memories too, his family killed in the invasion, his years as a soldier, his hope for freedom. For one perfect moment, 6 humans shared one consciousness, linked to a ship built from the enemy's discarded trash. When they came back to their bodies, hours had passed. They looked at each other with new understanding. Words weren't needed. They had shared minds. They knew each other better than anyone ever could. Admiral Patel entered the room, looking at their faces. Did it work? Tom nodded, still feeling echoes of the others in his mind. Yes. The Whisper has its crew now. Good, she said, because we just got word. A Confederacy patrol ship will pass directly over us tomorrow. It's time to test the Whisper in real space. The 6 neural pilots exchanged glances. They were still getting used to being separate people again. We'll be ready, Tom promised, knowing the others felt the same. Tomorrow, humanity would take its first step toward fighting back. The whispers of aliens still echoed in his mind, but now they were joined by human voices, his crew, his team, his new family. Together, they would become silence in the night. And soon, the enemy would learn to fear that silence. Night fell over the Rocky Mountains. Deep inside the hidden base, the 6 neural pilots prepared for their first real mission. They wore simple black uniforms with no markings, nothing to identify them if things went wrong. Remember the plan, Admiral Patel told them. This is a test run only. Activate the silence protocol, rise to orbit, observe the Confederacy patrol ship, then return. No engagement unless absolutely necessary. Tom nodded, feeling the others' nervousness mixing with his own. Since connecting their minds yesterday, a faint link remained between them. He could sense Emma's focused preparation, Jack's excited energy, Ben's worried calculations, Grace's calm resolve, and Ryan's tense readiness. Dr. Miller approached with 6 small devices. Neural transmitters, she explained, attaching one behind Tom's ear. These will help maintain your connection to each other and the ship. They walked through the massive underground hangar toward the Whisper. In the dim light, the ship looked almost alive. Its hull a mix of matte black and gunmetal gray, its lines smooth and predatory. Nothing like the boxy Confederacy ships. This was something new, born from scraps, but greater than the sum of its parts. She's beautiful, Jack whispered. Inside, they found their stations, 6 neural interface chairs arranged in a circle at the ship's heart. No traditional bridge, no separate engine room or weapons bay. The entire ship was controlled directly by their linked minds. As they settled into their chairs, Dr. Miller gave final instructions. The silence protocol is our biggest advantage. It doesn't just hide the ship from scanners. It actively erases your presence from reality by bending light and energy around you. But it requires perfect neural synchronization. If your minds drift apart, the protocol fails. The interface bands locked around their heads. Tom closed his eyes, preparing for the pain of connection. Initiating neural link in 3, 2, 1. This time, the pain was less, more like a sudden pressure than the tearing sensation of before. The whispers came, and then 6 minds flowed together, becoming one consciousness spread across 6 bodies. Tom felt the others, and through them, felt the ship awakening around them. Systems came online, responding to their thoughts. Hull integrity, engines, weapons, life support, all extensions of their shared mind. Admiral Patel's voice came through speakers. Neural link stable. Preparing for launch, opening hangar doors. Above them, massive doors in the mountain slid apart, revealing a starry night sky. No verbal commands were needed. As one, they thought of rising, and the whisper responded. The ship lifted silently from its berth, hovering for a moment before accelerating upward. They passed through the hangar doors and into the night. Below, the secret facility vanished as the doors closed again, hidden once more. Jack's mind guided their ascent, his natural feel for flight making the ship move like water through air. Ben monitored systems, making tiny adjustments to power flow. Emma kept weapons on standby, ready but dormant. Grace balanced life support and the neural load on their bodies. Ryan searched for threats, his senses extended through the ship's scanners. Tom coordinated them all, the central point where their minds connected. Approaching edge of atmosphere, Tom reported, speaking for all of them. His voice sounded strange in his ears, like someone else was using his mouth. Activate silence protocol. came Admiral Patel's order through the comm. As one mind, they reached for the special systems built into the ship's core, the alien tech that Dr. Miller had modified specifically for human brainwaves. They found the controls in their shared mental space and activated them. The Whisper shuddered. For a moment, the neural link wavered as the protocol drew power from their minds, as well as the ship's engines. Grace steadied them, distributing the mental strain. Then the ship disappeared. Not literally. They could still see and feel it around them. But on every sensor and scanner, the Whisper ceased to exist. They had become a ghost, silent and invisible. Silence protocol active, Tom reported. We are undetectable. They continued rising, passing through the upper atmosphere and into space. Earth curved below them, beautiful despite the scars of 20 years of alien trash dumps. And ahead, their target. The Confederacy patrol ship was massive compared to the Whisper, a gray, blocky vessel with jutting weapons arrays and scanning dishes. It orbited slowly, its crew no doubt bored with babysitting the primitive planet below. Approaching patrol ship, Tom said. No reaction to our presence. Keep your distance, Admiral Patel warned. Observation only. But something pulled at Tom's mind. A familiar presence in the whispers that always accompanied the neural link. The same voice he'd heard before. They are coming. He shared the sensation with the others through their link. I feel it too, Emma thought back. Something's wrong with that ship, Ryan added. Look at its patrol pattern. Ryan was right. The Confederacy ship wasn't following a standard patrol route. It was scanning specific areas, including the mountains above their hidden base. They're looking for us, Tom realized. Somehow they know. The decision formed in their shared consciousness, not from any one of them, but from all together. They would get closer, try to learn what the aliens knew. The Whisper glided toward the patrol ship, silent as space itself. They matched its orbit, positioning themselves directly above the larger vessel, so close they could see individual Confederacy crew members through viewports. We need to access their systems, Ben thought. I can interface with their computers if we get close enough to their main antenna. It was risky, beyond their mission parameters. But the shared mind had decided. They maneuvered beneath the patrol ship, finding the large communication array. Ben extended his consciousness through special sensors built into the Whisper's hull, reaching for the alien computer systems. Connection formed. Data flowed. Ben sorted through it, sharing important finds with the others. They detected unusual energy readings from the Rocky Mountains, he reported. That's why they're scanning there. They suspect something, but don't know what. There's more, Ryan added, helping process the tactical data. They're calling in a larger force. A destroyer-class ship will arrive in 3 days to investigate further. The linked minds considered this news. 3 days, not enough time to complete the Whisper's testing. Not enough time to prepare. We need to return to base, Tom decided, speaking for them all. The Admiral needs to know. They began to withdraw from the patrol ship's systems, but something noticed them, not the alien crew, but an automated security program. Alarms blared on the patrol ship. We've been detected. Ben's panic rippled through their shared consciousness. Maintain the silence protocol, Tom urged. They can sense something in their systems, but they don't know what we are or where. They watched as the patrol ship's crew rushed to battle stations. Weapons powered up. Scanning intensified. But the scans passed through the Whisper without registering its presence. It's working, Emma thought with relief. They can't see us. They backed away slowly, maintaining the protocol. When they were a safe distance away, Jack turned them toward Earth and accelerated. As they re-entered atmosphere, the neural link began to strain. Maintaining the silence protocol during high-speed atmospheric flight took enormous mental energy. Grace's thoughts reached out, supporting the others as the pressure built. Almost there, Jack encouraged them. Hold on. The Whisper streaked through the night sky, truly invisible to any watching eyes below. They approached the hidden base as dawn broke over the mountains. The hangar doors opened to receive them. As the ship settled onto its berth, the neural pilots finally released the silence protocol. The sudden absence of the mental link left them disoriented, separate again after hours of shared consciousness. They looked at each other, exhausted but triumphant. Their first mission was complete. The whisper worked beyond their expectations, but they had returned with troubling news. The enemy was coming, sooner than expected. 3 days, Tom said as they reported to Admiral Patel. We have 3 days before they bring a destroyer here. The Admiral's face was grim. Then we have 3 days to prepare for war. The underground base buzzed with activity. 3 days wasn't much time to prepare for a Confederacy destroyer. Everyone worked around the clock, fortifying defenses and preparing backup plans. Tom and the other neural pilots rested, recovering from their first mission. The extended mind link had left them tired but changed. Even when not connected to the ship, they felt echoes of each other's thoughts, emotions leaking across the mental bridges they had built. We need to go back up, Tom told Admiral Patel during an emergency meeting. We need to know exactly what we're facing. The Admiral looked at Dr. Miller. Are the pilots ready for another mission so soon? Dr. Miller hesitated. Physically, no. They need more rest. But there's something interesting happening with their neural patterns. The connections between them are becoming more stable, more permanent. A second mission might actually help them adjust. Then it's settled. Admiral Patel decided. You launch tonight. This time, I want you to get closer to the destroyer when it arrives. We need to know its capabilities, its weak points. That night, the 6 pilots prepared once more. As they settled into their neural chairs on the Whisper, Tom felt less fear than before. The others felt the same. The unknown was becoming familiar. The neural link activated. 6 minds flowed together again, connecting to the ship. The sensation was smoother this time, like slipping into a warm bath rather than a cold shock. The Whisper rose from the underground hangar and climbed toward space. Jack guided them expertly, his joy in flying shared by all. The silence protocol engaged without a hitch, cloaking them from detection. In orbit, they waited. The Confederacy patrol ship still circled Earth, continuing its scans. Hours passed. The neural pilots maintained their shared consciousness, taking turns focusing on different ship systems to let others mentally rest. Contact, Ryan announced suddenly. Something big just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They all felt it, a massive disturbance in space as the destroyer arrived. It dwarfed the patrol ship, a floating fortress of alien metal and weapons. Its very presence seemed to bend space around it. That's a Nova-class destroyer, Ben identified, drawing on data they had stolen from the patrol ship, much bigger than we expected. The patrol ship approached the destroyer, docking with it. Through powerful sensors, they watched alien officers move between ships, no doubt reporting their suspicions about activity on Earth. We need to get closer, Tom decided. See what they're planning. The Whisper moved cautiously toward the massive destroyer. The silence protocol held, but they could feel it straining against the destroyer's advanced scanning systems. Their tech is more advanced than the patrol ship, Ben warned through their link. They might detect us if we get too close. We'll stay at the edge of their sensor range, Tom replied. Emma, can you enhance our passive scans? Emma focused her thoughts, and the Whisper's sensors sharpened, picking up communications from the destroyer. They're talking about an inspection, she reported. Ground teams. They're planning to land near the Rocky Mountains tomorrow. If they find our base, all of Earth is at risk, Grace added, concern flowing through the link. As they processed this information, something unexpected happened. The whispers that always accompanied their neural link grew louder, more coherent. Not alone, the whispers said. Others fight. The neural pilots shared confusion. Was this just feedback from the alien tech, or something more? There's something strange about this destroyer, Ryan noted. Its energy signature doesn't match standard Confederacy patterns. Ben directed their sensors to analyze the destroyer more closely. He's right. There are fluctuations in the power core. It's like something is interfering with their systems from inside. Another message whispered through their minds. Help us. Tom made a decision. We need to get closer. Something's happening on that ship that we don't understand. Jack guided the whisper toward the destroyer, slipping between its massive scanning arrays. They positioned themselves near what appeared to be the command center, a heavily shielded section near the top of the vessel. Ben extended his consciousness through their sensors, reaching for the destroyer's systems just as he had with the patrol ship. The connection was harder to establish, the alien firewall stronger. Then suddenly, contact. Data flooded their shared mind. But it wasn't just information. It was a presence. Who are you? Tom thought, directing the question through the connection. We are the Forgotten, came the reply, not in words but in concepts and images. We existed before the Confederacy. They destroyed our worlds, but some of us survived in their machines. The neural pilots were stunned, and alien consciousness preserved somehow in the Confederacy's own technology. You're like us, Emma realized, using their tech against them. Yes, the presence replied. For centuries, we have waited, watching from inside their machines. When we sensed your minds reaching through the patrol ship, we knew you could help us. Help you how? Tom asked. The Confederacy destroys all who resist. They took your freedom as they took ours. Together, we can strike back. This destroyer carries weapons meant for your world. They plan to make an example of Earth. Horror swept through the linked pilots. The Confederacy wasn't just planning an inspection. They were planning to attack Earth, to punish humanity for daring to resist. What can we do? Tom asked. Our ship is small. We can't fight a destroyer. You don't need to, the presence replied. We can take control of their weapons, turn them against themselves. But we need your help, your unique human brainwaves to bypass the final security protocols. It was dangerous, beyond anything they had planned. But the alternative was worse, watching Earth burn. The decision formed in their shared consciousness. They would help this alien presence, this ally born from a long-dead race. Ben created a deeper connection to the destroyer's systems. The other pilots supported him, channeling their combined mental energy. The Forgotten guided them through the alien computer networks until they reached the weapons control center. Warning alarms blared on the destroyer. The Confederacy crew had detected something wrong in their systems. Hurry, urged the Forgotten. They are trying to lock us out. Grace's calm focus steadied them as they pushed deeper. Emma's weapons knowledge helped them understand the destroyer's offensive systems. Ryan spotted and neutralized automated security responses. Then they were in. The destroyer's weapons were under their control. We should destroy the ship, Ryan suggested. No, the Forgotten countered. There are other ships coming. But if we disable this one, make it look like a malfunction. Tom understood. We can buy time without revealing ourselves or our ally. Together with the Forgotten, they rewrote targeting systems, altered power distribution, corrupted navigation. Nothing fatal, but enough to render the destroyer helpless for days. As they finished, the strain of the extended connection became too much. Grace cried out in their shared mind as her physical body began to fail under the pressure. We need to go, Tom insisted. Now. They withdrew from the destroyer's systems as alarms continued to sound throughout the alien ship. The whisper pulled away, maintaining the silence protocol despite the enormous mental strain. Thank you, the Forgotten whispered as their connection faded. We will contact you again. You are not alone in this fight. The whisper raced back to Earth as the destroyer's engines flared and died behind them. On the destroyer's bridge, confused alien officers watched as system after system failed for no apparent reason. When they reached the base, the neural pilots collapsed as the link dissolved. Medical teams rushed to help them. Grace was unconscious, blood trickling from her ears. The others were exhausted beyond words. Admiral Patel stood over them as doctors worked. Was it worth it? What did you learn? Tom looked up at her with tired eyes. Everything has changed. We're not alone, Admiral. There are others fighting the Confederacy, and together, we might have a chance. He closed his eyes, still feeling the presence of his fellow pilots and the strange alien consciousness that had reached out to them. The whispers continued in his mind, weaker but clear. The silence will end. Soon, they will hear us all. 2 weeks passed since the encounter with the destroyer. The Confederacy ship remained in orbit, its systems still malfunctioning. They had bought time, but not much. More alien ships would come. In the underground base, Grace had recovered, though she still suffered headaches. The neural link between the 6 pilots had grown stronger even without the interface chairs. They could sense each other's feelings, sometimes even thoughts, from across the room. Dr. Miller ran more tests on them, fascinated by the changes in their brains. Your neural patterns are permanently altered, she told them. You're becoming something new, a true hive mind. Admiral Patel called a meeting with Earth's remaining military leaders, representatives from hidden bases around the world joined by secure communications. Tom and the other pilots attended, their new status giving them importance beyond their rank. The Confederacy now suspects we have technology they didn't give us, Admiral Patel explained to the group. The disabled destroyer bought us time, but soon they'll send more ships. We need to strike first. Tom stood to address the room. The other pilots rose with him, moving in unconscious unison. We've learned something that changes everything. We're not alone in fighting the Confederacy. There are others, the forgotten, who exist inside their computer systems. Murmurs spread through the room. Some faces showed hope, others skepticism. With their help, Tom continued, we've discovered that Earth isn't just a trash dump. The Confederacy has been using us to get rid of specific technology, tech they fear could be used against them. They've been dropping the pieces of their own destruction at our feet. Dr. Miller activated a holographic display showing designs for a new device. Using information from the forgotten, we've identified components for a weapon unlike anything we've built before. The whisper was just the beginning. The display showed a satellite-like object with a complex core. This device can amplify the neural signal from our pilots, not just to control one ship, but to reach every piece of Confederacy technology on Earth and in orbit. Admiral Patel took over. We're calling it the Voice. While the whisper moves in silence, the voice will broadcast. It will turn every piece of trash they've given us into a weapon under our control. The plan was audacious. The whisper would carry the voice device into high orbit. There, the neural pilots would activate it, connecting to millions of pieces of discarded alien tech on Earth's surface. Those components would activate, working together like cells in a huge organism. This is not just about Earth anymore, Tom said, feeling the other pilots' agreement flowing through their link. The forgotten have suffered like us. Together, we can free all worlds under Confederacy control. 3 days later, the voice device was complete. It wasn't pretty, a cobbled-together mass of alien and human technology. But Dr. Miller assured them it would work. The 6 pilots prepared for their most important mission. This time, they understood the risks. The neural load of connecting to so much technology at once could kill them, but they had no choice. As they prepared to board the Whisper, Tom looked at his fellow pilots. Jack, the natural flyer. Emma, the weapons expert. Ben, the technical genius. Grace, the healer. Ryan, the tactical mind. And himself, the leader who bound them together. 6 humans turned into something more by alien technology meant to enslave them. Whatever happens, he told them, we've already won. We took their trash and built something they fear. Inside the Whisper, they took their places in the neural chairs. The voice device sat in the center of their circle, humming with potential energy. The neural link engaged. 6 minds became one, connecting to the ship. The whisper rose from Earth one last time, carrying the voice and humanity's hopes into orbit. The disabled destroyer still hung in space, along with several patrol ships that had arrived to investigate. They were sitting targets, unaware of the true threat approaching. The whisper activated its silence protocol, slipping past the alien ships unseen. They positioned themselves at the perfect point in orbit, where the voice's signal could reach all of Earth and the ships above it. "Are you ready?" Tom asked through their shared consciousness. The others answered as one. "Ready." They activated the voice. Pain shot through their linked minds as the device powered up, drawing energy from their neural connection. The voice began broadcasting on frequencies only Confederacy technology could hear. Across Earth, in every dump site, alien tech began to awaken. Pieces that seemed broken came to life. Parts joined with other parts. The trash the Confederacy had given Earth was responding, becoming something new. In orbit, the alien ships suddenly lost control. Their own systems turned against them, responding to the voice's commands. Through it all, the Forgotten helped, guiding the process, showing the humans how to use the Confederacy's technology against itself. The strain on the pilots was enormous. Grace's mind supported the others, distributing the load. Still, they felt their physical bodies failing as they pushed beyond human limits. "It's working," Ben reported through their link. "The voice is spreading to other Confederacy systems. It's jumping through their communication network to other worlds." They sensed it, a wave of liberation spreading outward from Earth. On dozens of planets, enslaved races watched in wonder as Confederacy technology stopped working or turned against their oppressors. "The Forgotten are free," came a voice in their shared mind. "You have released us from our machine prison. Now we help free others." The Confederacy fleet above Earth was in chaos. Ships drifted powerless or fired weapons at their own kind. The disabled destroyer, hit by friendly fire, exploded in a bright flash. "We need to broadcast a message," Tom decided. "Let every world know what's happening." Using the voice, they sent a simple message to all Confederacy systems. "You are free. The silence ends today." As the message broadcast, something unexpected happened. The neural link began to expand beyond the 6 pilots. Other minds touched theirs. Humans from Earth, the Forgotten, and other alien consciousnesses from across the galaxy, all connected for one brief, beautiful moment. In that instant, Tom understood. This was never just about defeating the Confederacy. It was about connection. Taking the broken pieces of technology, of societies, of lives, and joining them into something stronger. The strain finally became too much. The neural pilots felt their connection beginning to fail. Their physical bodies could not sustain such power. "We need to let go," Grace warned, her mental voice fading. "Not yet," Tom insisted. "The process isn't complete." "It doesn't need to be," came the voice of the Forgotten. "You have started what cannot be stopped. Rest now. We will continue." With the last of their strength, the pilots guided the whisper back toward Earth. The voice had done its work. Across the galaxy, the Confederacy was falling as their own technology turned against them. As they re-entered atmosphere, the neural link finally broke. 6 minds became individuals again, though forever changed. The whisper landed at the base, where medical teams rushed to help the pilots. All 6 survived, though they would bear scars, mental and physical, for the rest of their lives. In the days that followed, Earth received messages from a dozen alien worlds, former slaves of the Confederacy now free. A new alliance was forming with humanity, once considered primitives, as founding members. Tom stood on a hillside, looking at what had once been a trash dump. The alien technology had reordered itself, forming strange new structures with purposes even Dr. Miller couldn't fully explain. The other pilots joined him, drawn by the link that still connected them, faintly. Words weren't needed. They had done what seemed impossible. They had taken the enemy's garbage and built not just a warship, but a new future. "What happens now?" Jack finally asked. Tom looked up at the sky, clear blue for the first time in years, as the alien machines cleaned the pollution caused by decades of dumping. Now, he said, we rebuild. And this time, we're not alone. The whispers in his mind had gone silent, but a new voice had taken their place. The voice of hope, no longer a whisper, but a confident declaration. Silence, no more.